Have you ever felt like you had a brilliant business idea, but something kept holding you back? Maybe it's the fear of failure. Maybe you think you don't have enough money, enough experience, or maybe you just don't feel ready. The truth is, you're not alone. Almost no one starts a business under perfect conditions. What really matters isn't waiting for perfection, it's knowing how to start the right way. And that's exactly what I want to share with you today, a clear, practical roadmap to turn your ideas into action. Not vague motivational talk, but concrete steps that anyone can follow. Think about it. How many opportunities have slipped away simply because you thought you weren't enough? If you keep waiting for the perfect moment, chances are, you'll never begin. But if you dare to take just one small step, things will start to unfold. In today's video, we'll walk through each stage of the startup journey, testing your idea, building a plan, starting small, learning from failure, and building a network. You'll see that entrepreneurship isn't about waiting until you're ready. It's about those who dare to begin. This is Different Thinking, a channel where we explore fresh perspectives on business, mindset, and success. If you want to discover how to turn ideas into action, stay with me until the end of this video, because I'll share a message that might just change the way you see entrepreneurship. And I have a question for you. When faced with a new idea, which path would you choose? A. Wait until you're fully ready. Or B. Start right away with what you already have. Comment your choice below. I'd love to know which group you belong to. The very first step in the journey of entrepreneurship isn't raising capital, nor is it writing a thick business plan. The first step is to test your idea. Many startups fail not because of a lack of effort, but because they never truly tested whether the market needed their idea. They fell in love with their own idea so much that they forgot to ask, do customers actually need this? So what should you do? Start with a few simple but powerful questions. Who exactly is my target customer? What problem am I solving for them? Is anyone else already doing this? And if so, what makes me different? Let's say you want to open a coffee shop. The real question isn't, is my coffee good? But rather, why would someone come to my shop instead of the dozens of others out there? Your edge might be in the experience, the atmosphere, the service, or even the story you tell around your brand. Don't worry, you don't need to hire an expensive market research firm. You can validate your idea yourself with quick surveys, casual conversations with potential customers, or by creating a simple prototype. There's a concept called MVP, minimum viable product. It's not about being perfect, but about being good enough to test if people are truly interested. Remember, the goal at this stage isn't to sell a lot, but to learn fast. You could try creating a landing page and let customers sign up before you even launch. Or if you're making a handmade product, sell it first to friends or family and observe their reactions. The most important thing at this stage is to have an open mindset. Be willing to hear feedback that might contradict your expectations. You may believe your idea is a guaranteed success, but the market might tell you otherwise. And don't forget, sometimes those very pieces of feedback led you to a new direction, a version even better than your original idea. Many successful companies today started with messy, trial and error versions. Ask yourself this: if tomorrow I had to prove this idea has value, what would I do? Would I talk to 5 potential customers? Would I try selling a simplified version? Would I run a small ad just to test reactions? This is how you save time, money, and avoid the deadliest trap of all: spending a whole year building something nobody really needs. Remember, testing your idea isn't about killing your dream. On the contrary, it's how you protect that dream from unnecessary risks. So before you take on any journey, spend a little time validating it. The market never lies, and if you listen closely enough, it will tell you which path to take. After testing your idea, the next step is to create a business plan. Don't picture a 50-page document filled with complicated charts just yet. You don't need all that. A good plan isn't about length, it's about clarity. Think of it like a roadmap, short, concise, and clear enough to tell you where you're headed and what you need to prepare along the way. Imagine preparing for a road trip. You don't pack your entire house, you bring only what's essential. A business plan works the same way. Focus on the essentials you need to get moving. So what are those essentials? There are 3 core points: goals, costs and cash flow, marketing channels. First, define your goals clearly. What do you want to achieve in the next 6 months? In the next year? Don't just say, "I want to succeed." Be specific. "I want to land my first 100 customers," or "I want to reach $50 in revenue in my first year." Second, estimate your costs and cash flow. How much will you need to get started? Rent, materials, ads, and more importantly, where will the cash inflow come from? When will you actually have paying customers? Many entrepreneurs feel overwhelmed because they ignore cash flow. They spend too much without a clear revenue plan. Remember, profit can come later, but cash flow is the oxygen that keeps your business alive. Third, outline your marketing channels. How will you reach your customers? Social media? Paid ads? Direct sales? Partnerships? Each channel has its pros and cons, and you can't do everything at once. One quick and effective tool I highly recommend is the Lean Canvas, a one-page business plan. It helps you answer critical questions. What's the customer's problem? What's your solution? Who are your target customers? What makes you unique? And where will the revenue come from? Imagine this. Instead of spending months writing a thick plan, you finish a lean canvas in one afternoon. More importantly, you'll have a clear picture of your business on a single page. Here's something interesting. Even big companies started with extremely simple plans. They didn't wait until they had all the answers. They made just enough plans to take action, and then adjusted constantly based on market feedback. Ask yourself, if I had to start tomorrow, could I write my entire plan on a single page? If the answer is yes, you're ready. If not, that's exactly what you should work on now. Remember this. A plan isn't a cage that locks you in, it's a compass that guides you. It can change, but at least you know which direction you're heading. When people think about starting a business, they often believe they need a perfect plan, a large amount of capital, or the right moment to begin. But the truth is, if you wait for perfection, you may never start at all. The world won't wait for you. The market shifts daily, and opportunities appear and disappear quickly. Winners aren't necessarily those who prepare the most, but those who dare to start the earliest with what they already have. Remember, you don't need to launch a big company right away. You can start with a side project. For example, you might have a full-time job but still test your idea in the evenings or on weekends. Some people start by selling handmade products from home and promoting them through Facebook Marketplace or Etsy. Others launch a YouTube channel to share knowledge, slowly turning it into a business. The common thread is, they started small. Starting small reduces risk, saves money, and helps you learn faster. Instead of investing tens of thousands up front, you spend a small amount to test. If it fails, your loss is minimal. If it succeeds, you have a foundation to grow bigger. Beyond starting small, you must also start fast. Why? Because the market is the best teacher. You can read dozens of books and take endless courses, but nothing replaces real-world experience. A simple website, a short ad video, or even just a social media post, any of these could be your launch point. The key isn't perfection, it's that you put something out there to get feedback. Finally, remember, entrepreneurship is a journey that requires flexibility. You might start with one idea, but along the way, you'll need to adjust. Nobody goes from point A to point B in a straight line. There are always unexpected turns. Many successful startups today actually pivoted from their original model. For example, Instagram started as a simple check-in app, but they noticed users loved sharing photos more, so they pivoted. The result? One of the biggest social networks in the world. So don't be afraid to change. What matters is that you keep experimenting, keep listening to the market, and stay ready to adapt. That flexibility is what helps you survive and grow. Let me ask you, if you had an idea right now, what could you do to start this very week? Would you create a simple website? Call 5 potential customers? Or post a trial ad online? Write it down, and more importantly, act on it, because an idea is just an idea until you make it real with that very first step. One of the less talked about truths of entrepreneurship is this: you will fail. Not necessarily with one big catastrophic failure, but with a series of small failures along the way. And that's completely normal. The real question isn't whether you fail, it's what you learn from each stumble. Think about it. How many times does a child fall while learning to walk? Hundreds of times. But have you ever seen a child give up and say, "Walking just isn't for me"? No, they fall, they get up, they fall again, until they finally walk with confidence. Entrepreneurship works the same way. You might launch a product and nobody cares. You might run an ad campaign and get zero responses. You'll make mistakes in management, in finances, in hiring. But remember this: small failures are the tuition you pay for success. Without them, you simply can't grow. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed 10,000 times. I've successfully found 10,000 ways that won't work." If Edison had feared failure, the world might have stayed dark much longer. Another example: many entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley treat failure as a badge of honor. Because if you've never failed, it usually means you haven't pushed yourself far enough. The key is to keep failures small and learn quickly from them. Don't let a small mistake grow into a massive disaster. For instance, if an ad campaign isn't working, stop early and analyze. Don't just throw more money at it hoping for a miracle. Being ready for small failures also means not tying your ego too tightly to your product. Don't think, "If my product fails, I'm a failure." No, it simply means one experiment didn't work out, and you can always try again. Treat every small failure like a map. It tells you which path doesn't work, so you can find a better one. So instead of fearing failure, fear not learning from it. Because failing without learning, that's the real loss. Let me ask you, when was the last time you faced a small failure in your work or life? And more importantly, what lesson did you take away from it? Share it in the comments. Your story might inspire someone else who needs to hear it. Entrepreneurship is never a solo journey. You might start alone, but to go far, you need a network. Imagine you want to climb a mountain. You could climb alone, but it would be risky, exhausting, and time-consuming. But if you go with a team, with a guide and companions, the journey becomes safer and faster. The same is true in business. A piece of advice from someone experienced can save you months of trial and error. The right connection at the right time can open doors to customers, investors, or partners. So where do you start building your network? First, connect with other entrepreneurs. They might be at the same stage as you, or a few steps ahead. Share stories, experiences, and learn from each other. Second, find a mentor, someone who has already walked the path you're on, who has stumbled, learned, and succeeded. A single piece of advice from them can help you avoid costly mistakes. Third, join entrepreneurial communities, workshops, events, or online groups. These are places where you'll find support, fresh ideas, and even potential collaborations. You might think, "I'm not good at networking. I'm shy." But remember, networking isn't about handing out business cards. It's about building genuine relationships. It starts simply with listening, caring, and being willing to help others. For example, at a startup event, instead of just introducing yourself, ask others, "What inspired you to start this project?" Or, "What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now?" That genuine curiosity is what creates connection. A strong network doesn't just give you opportunities, it provides emotional support. In those moments when you're tired or want to quit, your companions will remind you why you started in the first place. There's a saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." If you want to succeed, make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who inspire and push you forward. Let me ask you, right now, in your life, is there someone you trust enough to share and seek advice from? And if not, where could you start looking for such a person? Think about it and share in the comments. Because sometimes, one small connection can change an entire journey. We've just walked through the entrepreneurial journey from idea to action. Testing your idea, creating a plan, starting small and fast, embracing failure, and building your network. You might have realized one thing. Entrepreneurship is never about waiting for perfect conditions. Success comes from small, consistent, and flexible steps forward. The market shifts every day. Opportunities won't wait until you feel 100% ready. The most important thing isn't to wait, it's to take action today. I want you to remember this. The only real difference between those who succeed and those who hesitate forever is action. So if you have an idea, do something with it right now. No matter how small. Write it down, call a potential customer, or simply share it with a trusted friend. That small act could be the start of a big journey. This is Different Thinking, where we discover new perspectives to turn ideas into action. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And finally, let me ask you, which will you choose? A. Keep waiting for the perfect moment. Or B. Take action today with what you already have. Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear it.